You're blind. You're trying to escape from here, aren't you? I want to see how far you can make it before your head is chopped off.
Hello and welcome to round number 10 from Sonoma Raceway. This is the BMW Car Club of America National Capital Chapter for Raceverse. This is Matt Houston. So how's it going out there? Been a couple weeks since we last covered the series. Got another good one here for you tonight. This is a new track for a lot of these drivers. Not really a new track to the sim here. This is actually a really old scan by iRacing from the original package back in 2008. It's probably been updated a little bit. We've got some different layouts here. Wasn't 100% sure what we were running here tonight because it actually said they were running the Sonoma Cup version, but this is the Sonoma Long layout as far as I can tell. So kind of my preferred version because it has an interior section. Really good for the sports cars here. IndyCar runs some of these races at this track, or used to. They ran the finale race 2 or 3 years ago, but they ran a different layout. The sports cars, talking about like LMP1, LMP2, came here in the mid-2000s, and they actually hold the track record at this particular track. One of the Audi LMP, that means Le Mans prototype, holds the record. Marco Werner with an LMP1 car to minute 21.688. Our drivers here in the GT3 class are running a minute 29.848. That's Darren Treakle there at the front of the field. And while we talk about Darren here, let's do a shout out to Treakle Insurance. So let me get that ad running right here. So thanks to Darren here for being Treakle Insurance and Hagerty Insurance. So Treakle Insurance is an independent insurance agency offering auto, home, business, and life insurance, and they teamed up with the Hagerty Insurance to provide collector car coverage as well as race car and track day coverage. Then we've got Stan Cellier right here. This is the other Beltway Brewing Company car. And Sten represents the Beltway Brewing Company, owns this craft beer out of Sterling, Virginia. And they have a lineup of handcrafted IPAs, lager, sour, stouts, and even seltzer. And you can order directly from their website at beltwaybrewco.com. They do contact-free delivery right to your door, or you can pick it up their Sterling Taproom. That Sterling Taproom is probably bouncing these days. Not as much contact-free delivery, I bet, but they do it there as well. If you are a homebody and you need some of that craft beer, that's where you want to go. Beltway Brewing Company. Obviously got to be in the Sterling, Virginia area for that to work. I'm over in Indianapolis here. Not going to work for me. So that's where we're at. We've got about 6 minutes left in qualifying. Darren Treakle currently at the front, followed by Trace Hance in P2. Good seeing Trace back here. Brian Kennedy made his first official IndyCar Formula Indy Series race earlier this week. He's back here in the BMWs this week. We got Colin Kortanek there in P4. Good to see Jakub Bielik there in P5. And Dean Thuline there currently sitting on pit lane. Peter Lanek in P7. Brian Hare in P8. Matthew Stover sitting on pit lane. See, Yorksa has put up a lap. I think he's currently not in the server, though, so hopefully he gets back here. And we've got Scott Kim, our admin, running the awesome smiley face on his car. I believe that is a Brian Kennedy livery, if I'm getting that right. Stephen Tenney there in P13. Barry Boconnor in P14. Sorry, Barry, if I'm butchering your name. I thought I had it right a couple weeks ago. But anyway, Barry's here. He's running P14. He's getting used to these cars, getting used to his new wheel. Looks like he's doing a good job here tonight. Currently in P14, not too far off of Tenney or Scott Kim. Then we've got Robert Benson currently on the pit lane. Tim Bradford also in the pit lane, currently our slowest qualifier. We've got Hendrik Desart there in P16. Hendrik has not turned a lap yet here tonight. Go on board with Darren here. You can see we have that awesome LCD monitor there. Recently upgraded my video card to get that kind of picture for you. You can see these cars have that backup camera that these drivers can use for their racing. Darren's going to be setting up, it looks like, for another lap. Current provisional pole sitter. This is the final hairpin there, turn 11. It's going to accelerate out of the turn. Start finish line is right here. That's considered turn 1 right there, and then we're heading up into turn 2, uphill to the right. Really easy for the rear end to come around, although a little bit more. These cars have traction control in the GT3, a little bit easier on the throttle there, but you can really get that moving around. That's through turn 2, turn 3, 4 already. Now into the hilly section. So the NASCAR runs this track, but they don't run this particular section. They run a layout called the Cup version. And this is turn 6. Up into the hills, downhill, onto a drag strip here. And then we're going to head off that drag strip into another hairpin. Really good braking point. IndyCar ran a variant of this. They actually ran that inside straight lane, did a hairpin here. Out of the hairpin, that turn was turn 7 and 7A. Then into some sweeping S's. Really fun track here to drive. That is through turns 8, 8A, 9, and 10. Really tough to keep it on the track here, not getting off track. And back through the final hairpin. So NASCAR would run that hairpin, but the Indy cars would break off because they don't want Indy cars running into that tire barrier at 180 miles an hour. So that is a lap here at Sonoma by our pole sitter, Darren Treakle. Thank you for joining us out here tonight. Anybody watching can let me know who they're supporting, who they want to see on the track. And we'll be doing some new instructions here tonight. We'll be doing a podium interview, plus whoever finishes P7. So that should be fun to hear. Although, based on the grid right now, we might have a little bit different, people up in the grid here tonight than we're used to. Bielik running quite well up there. Getting some adequate beverages here in this booth. We've got about 90 seconds left in qualifying. Drinking my Homestead coffee. Not a sponsor, but a good product. One of our other drivers in another series sponsored by that got me onto that. So we'll see if Trace Hance or anybody else has an answer for Darren Treakle there at the front. Darren is the only car in the sub 90-second level. Trace Hance sitting on pit lane. Brian Kennedy in P3, a minute 30.640. So again, a lot of these drivers said that this was going to be a new track for them here tonight. We haven't had this on the schedule, and we've been doing these broadcasts It's actually been a while now. uh, I just kind of realized that right now, but we started broadcasting this thing back in November of last year. And so we're over 6 months of broadcasting this series on the Race First channel. So, and these drivers, we've really gotten to know everybody out here. Did join them for one particular race at Detroit Belle Isle back there in season 2, the winter season. Bielik on pit lane as qualifying comes to an end. Hot laps will count. Yerksa needs to get back in the server. We got about 2 minutes for anybody on their hot laps to see if they can get better. That's not going to count there, Brian. Through the dirt, not going to count. He might just call it a day on that one, or he might just decide to bin it or something like that because it all is over. We'll see if we have a caution, or not a caution, but a yellow flag. I'm obsessed with cautions. If we have a pit stop here tonight, and I have to get a good practice for that. Don't want to do that during the race there, though, Brian. Anybody else out here on track? We've got Stephen Tenney out here still. A few drivers not in the server still. Coming back in, hopefully. Stephen Tenney still on track. Hard onto the brakes, into the final hairpin. Looks like he's got some Beltway Brewing Company on his car as well. Out of the hairpin, completing the lap. Does not go any faster. His best was 1:32. Look at average speeds here. Best laps. So they're actually, this is one of our slower tracks that we've had for these guys. Very technical course. Actually sub 100 mile an hour average lap. I want to say that they're slow. That is not what we're trying to say, but we'll get the grid up here. But they got to wheel it around here. Tough track. Really difficult place to make passes. This particular track, Sonoma Raceway in California. So Darren Treakle's going to be on the pole. Let me change that on over to have the speeds. Minute 29.848, followed by Trace Hance there in P2. In row 2, Brian Kennedy. P3, Colin Kortanek. P4, Yakov Bielik there. Good to see him. I know we interviewed him last season, and he's back. He was on the podium and got it now on P5, so that's pretty good. Dean Thuline, P6. Peter Lanik in P7. Brian Hare in P8. Matthew Stover in P9. Peter Yerksa in P10. Sten Cellier, P11. Scott Kim, P12. Stephen Tenney in P13. Barry Boconnor in P14. Robert Benson, P15. Tim Bradford there in P16. Hendrick, I don't know if he's actually lining up here tonight, but he's there in P17 if he wants it. We're going to be doing a full pace lap, it looks like to me. Yes, we will. Waiting on Darren. There you go. We'll have a full pace lap here. And then we'll be on for 30 laps, about 30 minutes, 20 laps. And then we'll be crowning our victor here. So, looking at this, schedule is wrong. We're going to have Road Atlanta next week and then Spa on the 20th. Really good to see all these cars out here tonight. A lot of the circuits these days have a what they call a short pace lap in iRacing, but this particular one, they have to do the whole thing around. So we've got to watch them run around a little bit slower. I think it's a good view of all the cars. As they come on down through the S's section. Final will be out of the hairpin, and then we'll have green flag. It's going to be a really interesting experience. So we got Trace Hance there on the side, a little bit ahead of our actual car that will be taking the green flag first. But side by side into that first corner, which is actually the second corner, it's a really interesting experience here. So hopefully all cars can make it through. Could have gone through the grid another time, I suppose. But yeah, you can see that inside line there, now on the left. That's where the Indy cars would go. They wouldn't come all the way down to this hairpin. I prefer if they did, but they just physically cannot. All right. Here we go. Waiting for that green flag. Darren Treakle leads us down, and there is our green flag. As things update, Hendrick is not starting here tonight. We've got Darren taking the lead into the first corner, 3 wide back to about Lanik and Stover, and they're going to have to quickly get this down to single file through turn number 3. Oh, we've got, looks like Brian Hare on the inside, getting a little bit of wheel spin out of the corner. A little slow getting back onto the track. Back up to the front. Darren's going to head on through the first of the hairpin corners. One of the really good braking passing points. Brian Kennedy there in P3, Dell Technologies car. Nice chrome livery there for Brian. Dancelier up a couple spots into P9. Anybody that's watching can let me know who... Oh, we've got a car. We've got Peter Lanik is around. Oh, and we've got contact. Oh, we've got several other cars. We're going to have to get a replay of this. Barry was involved in that. About 4 or 5 cars involved in this accident. Robert Benson trying to get in the pit lane. Oh, he's going to keep it out here. Might not be aware of the damage on that car. So we're going to get a replay of that. Quickly going to the front, let me just quickly look. Okay, yeah, so Darren has an appropriate lead here. So what happened there? Okay. Lanik was already around. We'll go rewind this. Oh, he gets a little bit... Just gets a little loose coming out of the corner there. Really, yeah, rear end comes around. Hits that barrier, slides back on the track. Another car impacts that. And then it's just, oh, and then we have even more. That was Yerxa was the other car involved with that. Let me get back and look at that too. So he kind of had the same thing happen with that Lanik had. Oh, that was just killer there. And Barry tries to get around, but then he gets nailed by another car as well. So A lot of good cars destroyed here tonight. Heading back up to the front, though, Treakle's already gapped out about 1 8/10 of a second. Cortanic's less than a second back from Kennedy. Ben Cellier moving up to 8th position from 11th. And Bradford, Yerksa's back on track. Benson's driving around with this Road Warrior machine here beyond Thunderdome. Is Robert Benson here. That's a different livery there for Robert than usual. Looking good. I have a good camera that'll zoom in on these cars here at the track. Hip Motorsports is what I see on the side of that one. Heading back up for the battle here, from 4th to 5th to, well, 3rd to 4th to 5th is a really tight battle. Bielik here hasn't made any progress. He started 5th. He's stayed in 5th. Looks like he's got these crafting for a cure.ca on his car. He also has that Hip Motorsports sponsorship as well, so I think that's their team. Oh, we had Cortanic, a little bit of an issue there coming off the corner there in the second corner. Let's go on board with Yakov here, getting a follow to Cortanic and Kennedy. Oh, we also got some action here between Scott Kim and Hare. Let's get a replay of that if we can. I think that Hare got around Kim. Yeah, you can see that looks like Kim just getting a little wide there. Side by side into turn 3. And Hare is going to get around there. And Brian Hare up. Well, he's actually back one spot into P9. Cortanic gaining back on Kennedy, 6/10 of a second between them. Kennedy overshooting in the hairpin just a little bit too much, too late on the brakes there. This is a battle for the podium position. Across the start-finish line they go. We switch over to Brian's view. You can see lurking in his rear view camera is Colin Cortanic there. Got Kim just about 7/10 back on Brian Hare back there, just looking through the field. This is about the best battle other than that Kim won. Let's have a look at how they're doing here. Really difficult to make passes at this track. You can see that the cooperation that Scott had and Brian had when Brian got by, that there was a lot of cooperation between the two drivers. They saw that there was some contact early in the race and they didn't want to have any more contact. This is a no contact league. Obviously you're going to have some contact in racing. We see the Road Warrior still out here. Robert Benson, no hood on that car. Slowest car on the track at the moment. Obviously that aerodynamics on the front of that car, but you know, you got to account for if you're going to come down the pit and you didn't need to, you need to account for that. Going to be losing a little bit of downforce. Heading back up to the 4th position, battle for 3rd. is Colin Cortanic. Hard into the race. Really perfect positioning of his car through that hairpin. A couple seconds back is Bielik has dropped back. Grace Hance has dropped back about a second and a half from the leader, but he's maintaining that speed, and no car in the race anyway has broken that 90-second lap. And Trace actually gained a little bit in those last couple of corners. Basically, we're really spread out through the field. That initial incident has really spread us out here. Our closest battle is actually this one for the lead, and we're at 1.5 seconds. So the other battles here I'm looking at, Cortanic is still there, but the other battles are between 2 to 5 seconds between the cars. So, as I was saying, really tough to make passes here. The way the nature of the track is, it's really hard to follow in these kind of cars. You lose that front downforce on the cars. When you have that aero wash coming off it, you can see the skid marks back there through, I believe that was turn 10. Get a good view of Grace Hance here on board. So next season, I believe we're going back to the BMW GTEs. A little bit bigger car, a little bit more horsepower, but that's what we ran last season. We like to alternate here in the series, but anybody can join the series anytime they want. BMW National Capital Chapter of the BMW Sports Car Club of America. How are we doing, everybody? Brian Hare here in P9. Cellier there in P7. Matthew Stover there, currently in 7th, and that will be the interviewed position here. So that is a featured position. He's just going to want to stay right there. I don't know if they remembered this, but I'm going to pull them up at the end of the race. Here we go. We got a battle there for the 11th position. Peter Lanik inside of Stephen Tenney. Can't quite make that work. Hard on the brakes was Peter. Going on board with Peter. Lost a little bit of ground there with that dive. Oh, as Tenney goes off into the tire barrier. Backs it back on the track. We'll get a replay of this one. Just the pressure from Lanik, too much for Steven here. Not sure exactly what happened. Oh, he gets on a little bit on the curb there and just bang against the tire barrier. Doesn't look too bad for the car, honestly. Get one more replay here. Go on board for this one. And stuffs it. Back on the track, back in pit lane. Yeah, the hood was off that car, so that's not going to be helping it aerodynamically. Lanik has passed Sten here. Something happened here. Looks like Sten had an off track. Let's see if we can figure out what happened here. Okay, that had already happened. Let's go back. I think this is, he's going to push wide after the first corner. We don't have any battles too tight here at the moment, so we have some time to look at these replays here. With Stover up there in P7 in that red car, and I think that Sten is going to overshoot the first corner here, take it through the dirt, not the grass. Yep. Oh, and he's gonna, that dirt is slick. But Sten is back on the track here. Good battle here between Sten and Peter. Really comparative lap times other than that one that Sten did there. Oh, we've got a couple of cars. Brian Hare. We'll get a replay of this one as well. Couple of cars hugging in the first or second corner here. Oh, I saw what happened there. Who is that other car? That is Bradford? Bradford's just going to lose it, and Bradford's in the final position. Way hot into the brakes, tries to avoid him, and just takes him out. Oh, boy. I bet there were some words on this one between these two drivers, Brian here, as they try to get out of this situation here. I would assume that there's some apologies from Tim there. Be careful coming back on the track there, Brian. All in all, though, that car isn't in that bad a shape, honestly. These cars are kind of like tanks. So that was interesting. Back to live shots now. No, Hendrick never started the race there, Dakota. We have a viewer asking about Hendrick and how he's doing in the race. So we have a lot of contact in this race, but we don't have the closest battles. The closest battle is this one between Trace and Darren here. Darren, our title sponsor of the series here in P1. Missing a couple drivers here tonight as Trace heads for that pit lane halfway through the race. 15 minutes, just about 13 minutes to go. And this is the time. Everybody's going to have to pit at some point in time. Was an issue a few races back with Darren getting into the pits and having a, I believe it was speeding penalty, something like that. So Brian Kennedy will take over that second spot. He's got Barry coming out of the pits right in front of him. Not going to help out. Brian here, since the last time we saw him on the track, has gapped up from Colin Kortanek back in now third spot. Looks like Barry gets out of the way there nicely. Whoa, it's back on the track. So I'd assume Brian's gonna go out one more lap or so. So Trace coming out of the pits now is going to be behind Stover. We'll see how this all cycles through. Oh, we had Kortanek and Uline here. Or was, no, that was a Barry there. Low car that Kortanek was getting around. Benson on the pit lane in his Road Warrior machine. He's going to get that repaired, I would hope. I do believe that we have a fast repair on these cars. Or maybe we don't. Gonna have to deal with it. And Darren is now on the pit lane as well. Kennedy to the pit lane. So we will be watching Trace here. Trace battling with Stover. Stover's gonna hit the pit lane there too. We're gonna see where Trace gets out in relation to Darren. I think Darren's gonna be plenty ahead of Trace here. Yeah, big time. So it looks like Trace had a longer pit stop. Maybe took more fuel than Darren did. But you'd rather have more fuel than run out of fuel, as I learned last night in my race. Pretty much everybody's pit stop was about the same, except for Trace had a 13-second versus everybody's about a 10-second pit stop. Looking through the field to see a closer battle. Cortanic is still about a second back. We'll go on board with him from Brian there for the final podium position. Lanik is coming on Scott Kim here in that yellow car. Lanik behind. We'll go on board. I know Peter like, oh, we've got, it looks like Scott Kim is just gonna be happy to let him go by. It looks like not try to battle him for that position. Trying to give Peter a shot with the onboard. I'll give him one anyway, because I know he's requesting some onboards here. Review from Peter here. He's in that 8th position. He's going to want to move up to the 7th position, about 5 seconds up the track to get that interview position in 7th that we're going to be doing this week. That was Stover in the red car there. We'll see what he can do. As looking at that battle for the lead after that pit stop, Trace is 6 seconds back from Darren. So this livery that Darren runs is one similar to his real life BMW car. Not sure what make that car is. He's told me before, but I can't keep track of all the different BMW model numbers. Cortanic is also gaining ground on Kennedy. About a second between these drivers now. He's brought it down from about a 1.5 seconds earlier in the race. I think that's due to Brian's tires coming up temperature, but oh, we had a car off there. Not sure 100% who that was. Benson still has some damage there. It looks like it's Stephen Tenney there, a little bit slow. Oh, he had a moment there, I think, into turn 1. Yeah, a couple drivers do this kind of thing where, he hits it, tire barrier right going into the corner. Anyway, I want to cut back up to this battle for the third positions. Only a 0.5 second between the drivers now, going on board with Cortanic. Ooh, some wheel spin there for Cortanic out of that hairpin corner. Colin is over the curbs there. right on the bumper just about is Spartanic. 0.3 of a second. 2 count. I can see that Spartanic can see this podium position. He wants that podium interview. He's going to drive hard to get it. About 5 laps to go between these drivers. This is the best battle on track. We've got a good battle also between Sten and Brian Hare. I'll keep an eye on as well. Really difficult to make a pass here though, unless somebody makes a mistake. That battle between Sten and Brian Hare. That's Brian in 10th. Let me just double check that one, see if I can go back a bit, see if anything was happening. I think Brian's going to get by Sten here. Into the hairpin. It looks like Sten had a little bit of a problem there, and that's how he got by. Back to this battle for the final podium position. As we have 4 laps to go, just about. These cars are going to come up to some lap traffic, and that is going to affect this battle. Onto the curbs though at the exit of the corner. Brian's using all the track that he can to maintain this gap. 0.7 of a second between these, and we got 2 slower cars ahead of them, 2 lap cars. Go on board with Brian here to see these 2 lap cars and see how he manages to deal with them. And we can see Colin there in the rear view camera. I won't have any comment about whose paint's better than the other there, Chops. Alright, let's see how Brian gets around these cars. It's going to be tough. And I'm going to dive it inside. That is a battle between Barry and over. Oh, and Spartanic is going to take advantage. Exactly what I was saying earlier. Oh, and Brian's going to go off there, get back on the track, but Spartanic still has to deal with his lap traffic. Blue flags coming out for this lap traffic. Now, Colin gonna want these lap cars to do everything to get into the way, or Brian wants these lap cars to do everything to get in the way of Colin there. Brian, unfortunately, not gonna get any favors either, though. I would have loved to have heard. Barry's gonna get out of the way. Almost got a tap from Brian. I would have loved to have heard what Brian thinks about this lap traffic. Oh, and Colin goes off just a little bit, and Brian follows him. No advantage gained. Benson. Finally. Kennedy able to get around him. Like I said earlier, it's really tough to make a pass here at this track. Oh, and then Brian gets a little bit of wheel spin coming out of that corner there. But meanwhile, Colin's just driving up the track. And we are now on our final lap here. Darren navigating around for this final lap. Haven't been looking at him as much here today, looking at those other battles through the field. Trace is back there, 5 seconds back. Colin's another 14 seconds back. And now Brian's ended up 3 seconds back from there. Clear sailing here, though, for Darren. Getting a little bit of dirt on Trace's tires there. Flawless race for Darren here. And he's going to bring it home for the victory here. Checkered flag and a win, another win here this season for Darren Treakle for Hagerty Insurance. And Trace Hant's going to come back in second position. Good to see Trace back in the series. One more corner to navigate there for Cortanic, and he's going to be back on the podium. Brian there, not going to be too happy, I don't think, with that position that he's coming out with. We've got some drivers trying to do a turn one pile up. Unsuccessfully so far, it appeared. They're going to have Atlantic as the 7th position here. He's got some Beltway Brewing Company on his car. Alright, so we will get some podium interviews. So I'll be right back, and then I will we'll talk about this. Alright, back already. Let me make sure to get a look-see here. And we'll pull up Darren first. Hey, Darren, this is Matt up here in the booth.
Hey, Matt, how you doing?
Good. Tell me about your race. It looked pretty clear sailing from here.
Yeah, I mean, Trace was giving me a run, no doubt. I mean, we were very close in lap times. You know, I just got I got out on a jump on him on the start, and then I was able to put a little bit of a gap, but not much. I mean, he was, you know, it seemed like he would catch me in some areas, and then I would pull away in other areas, and then for whatever reason, I think the biggest gap came when was because of the pit stop. He pitted a lap earlier than I did, which I was I was a little concerned because I was coming up on slower traffic, and I was like, oh man, this could be bad. But it worked out. I don't know if he made a mistake or what, but when I came out of the pits, it was like a 6-second gap. So something must have happened.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure what did happen there. He did have a longer pit stop, about 4 seconds, but it was more like 6 seconds what he actually had as a gap. So, so it felt like something else happened there, but I couldn't quite eye what it was, so I'll have to ask him in his interview. But yeah, after that, it was pretty much clear sailing for you.
Yeah, other than that, it was uneventful at that point. I just watched the gap and made sure I had plenty of gas to get to the end. And,
yeah. This track to me is kind of a driver's track. Like it's really fun to drive. It is really difficult to pull off a pass on somebody. As much as they try to add some passing points at this track, like the S's and the hairpins, that's what they've kind of put them in for to make some passing points. But it's really tough to get good runs on anybody and make it work. So once you get out in that lead, as long as you keep it straight and going, not much somebody can do about it. And you did exactly that here tonight. You were the only driver in the sub 90-second lap in qualifying. So really good run out here tonight, Darren.
Yeah, I had a really good qualifying lap, and I don't know if I had too much more left in me, maybe a little bit, but it was hard to, you'd have to be spot on, and not make any mistakes. And the car likes to slide around a lot, and then by that time, by the end of qualifying, I'm thinking about stuff too much, but yeah, no, I had a good qualifying lap, and it was a good run. Sorry, Steve and Chris weren't here tonight. I have a feeling the result might be a little bit different had they showed up, but I think Chris lives in California, so this might be considered a home track for him.
Yeah,
but
it might have been, huh?
So yeah, it's kind of a bummer. And Hendrick wasn't here. He always puts up a good fight. But
indeed, yeah, it was good to have Trace back here. I don't know if he was here last week, but we haven't seen as much of him this season, I feel like.
Yeah, I was out last week because I went to a race, a real race, and so I don't know if Trace joined last week or not. I do think that Chris won last week. I think I heard that. But yeah, it was good to have him back.
Well, any final shout-outs? Obviously, Treakle Insurance, you can always mention that, and good run. And then next week we're going to be going, it won't be broadcast, but it looks like it's Road Atlanta, unless they ran that last week. And I have two schedules that are slightly different. But I know finally, the final race is going to be at Spa, so that one is definite, and that's what's going to be broadcast. So those?
I'm looking at the schedule and it shows next week at Road America.
I see Road Atlanta and I see Sonoma, but we're here this week. And then let's see here.
Really? Because I'm looking at the sessions that are set up for May 12th and 13th.
I'm looking at
and it's Road America. But anyway, either way, I actually like Road America better than Road Atlanta, so I'm fine with it being Road America. I mean, it's a great track. I was just there back in the fall running the SCCA National Championships. Yeah, I mean, it's a long track. It's a fast track, so it should be fun. And Spa, I kind of have a love-hate relationship with Spa. I don't know what it is. I like it, but I don't know if it really likes me or my style. But the one thing about Spa is that, man, they really hit you with the off track, the incident points, like if you just go too far, I mean, not even both top wheels, it just seems like they really hammer you. You got to be really careful and not go, like if you watch them race in real world when they're there and you try to do that, that's no good in the sim world, not racing anyway, at least in my opinion. So
what I think
That's the only
is,
thing. That's the only thing with Spa
I think all the Formula One
that I
tracks
found.
have they're very strict on the Formula One tracks.
Hello,
Oh, are you there? I've got you, but
Matt. Did we lose you?
I hear you, and I see my thing coming in and out. I think,
Matt.
yep. Well, we seem to have a technical difficulty there with Darren. We might have lost him. We'll try pulling somebody else up here though, but that was Darren, our race winner. We'll see if I can pull Trace up. Is he in here though? Not sure if Trace is in here. We'll bring in Colin though, if he's also in here though. Hey Colin, this is Matt up here in the booth. Do I have a copy?
Hey Matt, how you doing?
Good. It's been a little while since I talked to you.
It has. It has. I usually
I-
don't show up for the televised events. Usually I'm a crash and burn or a poor finish. So
is that on purpose that you don't show up for the televised ones just because
you know, I've had a little string of bad luck. The last two, I think Daytona had a bad crash. That it wasn't a bad crash, but it was a little crash that took me out. And then last week, I might have killed the driver going into one of those tire walls.
okay.
But no, today just kind of put it together. You know, Brian had great pace. Brian Kennedy, we were racing really good. I think the whole race. A little unfortunate, he got stuck behind traffic, and I had a window and I took it. So you know, I was pretty certain I'd be finishing fourth. So I'll take the podium,
Yeah.
third place finish anytime.
Yeah, I would assume that Brian's a little disappointed about that. I think he probably
He's a
wanted
little
podium.
salty, but you know,
Yeah.
I honestly thought about just kind of like letting him take it, but I can't do that.
Yeah,
Can't do that.
when you have that chance for a podium, you don't give it up.
Yeah, but it's been great, right? I mean, we've got a lot of close competition between a few of the guys, right? With
Mhm.
Yakov and Dean and Pete. You know, it's been really exciting just how competitive the racing's been lately, and it's just been a lot of fun.
Well, really good run here today, and like I said, that was kind of the battle. If you end up watching the replay, that was probably the main battle that I covered on there because it kind of spread
Awesome.
out a lot. It's really difficult to pass here, just the nature of this track. But you ended up figuring out how to pull it off, and that was with some lap traffic.
Yeah,
just
it was at
getting
the
down.
right time, right? Not a lap
That's
too
right.
soon. I think there was 1 or 2 laps left, and that was it. So.
Any sponsors, anything like that you want to give a shout out to?
Well, yeah, I mean, just want to give a shout out, obviously, to Darren and to Sten at Beltway Brewing. You know, just for making this happen and getting you involved with the league. It's been great. So if you guys haven't gone to Beltway Brewery, check it out. And if you need some insurance or track insurance, give Darren a call. He'll hook you up.
Sounds good. Well, any final thoughts there, Colin? I don't know. Like I said, when was the last time you were on the podium? Was it in the October series?
It's usually the first race of the season. I always end up being on the podium. So I think it was at Indy, if that was the first race.
Okay.
Or was that a season? Or I'm getting them a little confused now.
I
But
was just thinking about it in this race. I was like, we've literally been doing this for like 6 months now, so that's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah, really good to be a part of you know, with you guys and broadcasting all of these.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'll give a big Gasburn shout out to my fellow Gasburn boys. Unfortunately, a lot of us won't be on next week due to we're going up to a track event at Watkins Glen, which should be awesome. But
Cool.
you know, just love driving with those guys.
Yeah, we're a little confused between what Darren was a little unsure what the next track was anyway, but we're Spa.
I think it's Road America or Road Atlanta.
Yeah,
Not sure.
One of them had Road Atlanta, and one of the schedules has Sonoma, which is obviously what we ran this week.
Yeah.
And so yeah, but the final race, and we'll broadcast that one, is at Spa, which
Oh, excellent.
Darren has a love-hate relationship. It sounds like. Any thoughts about Spa?
It's one of my favorite tracks. I mean, you can't knock it. It's just so much fun, and there's always so much excitement and good racing. So that'll be a blast and a good way to close the season. So, you know, who knows, right? Maybe we can set up a poll and we can move Thursday night's race to Wednesday night next week, just because I think there's at least 5 or 6 of us going. So that, you know, just want to have a good roster for the race, of course.
Yeah. Well, you'll have to talk to to Scott Kim about that. But anyway,
we're working on it.
Yeah.
Maybe some Beltway Brewery can do some convincing, right? We'll figure it out.
Like, you know, happened to leave some at his doorstep, and then you know, later that night you convince him.
Well, he did finish 7th tonight, so
Yeah,
good for
well,
Scott.
we're going to be bringing him up here because I think he planned this because we talked about we are going to randomly bring the 7th spot up here tonight. So I'm going to bring him up here. So you have a good one there, Colin.
You too, Matt. Thanks so much.
No problem. Hey, Scott, this is Matt up here on the booth. I don't know if you planned this, but remember we were going to do the 7th position. And
that was...
you conveniently, I thought I was going to pull up Peter, and then I was
Oh my
looking at the
goodness.
final results, and I see it's you.
Right. So apparently he ran out of fuel right at the line. So, and of course none of this was my intention. So
I don't know. It sounds a little suspicious.
Oh, we were laughing and just it was so funny. But yeah.
Sounds
What can I
good.
say? Never been here. Love the track, the flow and everything. It's a tough track, especially turn 1. I was struggling all day yesterday, but otherwise, very clean race. I was just trying to keep it clean, and I think a few people went off early on, and but otherwise, it's a really fun track. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, my opinion on this track is it's like great for lapping.
Mhm,
Maybe not the best
mhm.
for racing. Like it's really difficult to put a pass on somebody.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
We're a little thin today, so we're kind of spread out. But yeah, I could definitely see. I know we're just talking about the lapping traffic
Mhm.
and how we were managing through some of that, and they're having some issues early on. But yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. We had a good battle between Brian and Colin there.
Colin. Mhm.
And there was I think it was good seeing Peter, I think, was battling, I think, with like Ben and a couple
Mhm.
other guys. But there was good racing regardless. There's always good racing here in the series. And hey, we're a
Mhm.
little confused on where we're going next week.
Oh, we're going to a Road Atlanta. I'm just setting up right now. I think I had a
Okay.
Road America for some reason,
Yeah,
but
they were
yeah.
saying so because I knew it was Road Atlanta, and I was telling
Yeah.
Darren, and they seemed to think it was Road America, but I thought we ran Road America already this season, but maybe
We
I'm
did.
wrong.
We ran it last winter, but yeah, we will do RA next
Yeah.
season. But
Okay,
Road
and
Atlanta,
then final race of the season will be back at Spa. So
wow, yes, that's gonna be a little special. So wait for that announcement. It's gonna be a little long,
mhm.
but yeah, hopefully we have a large turnout and we'll make it special.
Sounds good. Well, really good having you up here in the booth here tonight, Scott. Any final thoughts? Any final shout outs? Any thank yous? Anybody watching?
No, thanks to my family and everything, and to all the fans out there, and continue to come out and support us. Wait for our new season. The summer season starts in June 4th, and we will be back using M8, and we will be adding some new tracks, primarily international ones.
Mm-hmm.
So look out for the flyers and announcements, and we will be broadcasting that every week for 12 weeks in summer. So.
Sounds good. Well, it'll be on
Yep.
Race First. It'll be called by me, and we're going to be
Yes,
really
sir.
busy in the summer here
Oh yeah.
at Race
Bet.
First. So gonna be fun.
That's right. Yep. I look forward to it.
Well, you have a good night there, Scott. And I heard some talk that they were gonna get you some Beltway Brewing Company, and they were gonna convince you to schedule the next week's race on a Wednesday rather than a Thursday. So you go talk to the guys about that.
Okay.
All right, I'll send
Sounds
you back
good.
down there. You have a good one.
Okay. All right. You too. Thanks a lot.
Yep. All right, that was Scott Kim, our man here in the series. A good position there for him in 7th. Let's do a final run through of the field there. That's Scott's car right there. But we've got, obviously, Darren Treakle wins the race. You just saw it. Trace Hance. Trace not in the chat here tonight, so we can't get an interview with him. So, tough break. Colin Kortanek in P3, Brian Kennedy P4, Yakov Bielik in P5, Dean Thuline in P6, Scott Kim P7, Peter Lanik in P8, Stan Cellier in P9, Brian Hare P10, Peter Yerksa P11, Robert Benson, Matthew Stover, Stephen Tenney, Barry Buchanan in P15. Good result there for Barry. He's new to the series and learning the ropes here. And Tim Bradford, he's our really only car that's out because Hendrick didn't actually start the race. So, good race here tonight. We'll be back in a couple weeks for the Circuit Day Spa, I believe, something like that. Francorchamps. There we go. And final shout out to our sponsor, Beltway Brewing Company, and Hagerty Insurance and Treakle Insurance. Treakle Insurance is the main one, but they teamed up with Hagerty Insurance, as we've discussed previously. And you guys have a good one. We'll see you back in a couple weeks.
You're blind. You're trying to escape from here, aren't you? I want to see how far you can make it before your head is chopped off. Good luck not getting killed.